Okay, good morning. This is part 2 of Baby's First Meal segment. Today, as I promised, we were going to be doing applesauce. I would recommend doing any apple pretty much, with the exception of the Granny Smith. As for it is bitter, and you know, I think babies would like something a little milder, a little on the sweeter side. Also, please keep in mind to consult with your pediatrician and the requirements for the American Pediatric Association with timelines with feeding babies. Sometimes as a mother, we can make our own judgment call. You know, my pediatrician had recommended feeding my children at 6 months. I had very hungry babies. So my daughter at 3.5 months had 2 teeth, so I fed her. And it went really well. We didn't have any other issues. So I'm gonna pause and I'll show you what the ingredients are and we'll get started. The prepping area that I have all ready and laid out for today's task. I have my immersible blender here all ready. I have my paring knife. I have my measuring cup to measure the water that will be boiling prior to putting in the ingredients, my prep bowl, and typically I do 8 apples. And 8 apples will last me a week. It stays fresh in the refrigerator. You know, they'll have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So 3 servings a day for 7 days, you should be okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start peeling my apples, and I'm gonna pause this, and then when you come back, I will show you an apple when it's peeled and how to properly slice it so that this way we are boiling it for less amount of time and not losing any nutritional value. Okay, so now we are gonna start peeling our apples. Take it along off the top, and you slowly turn the apple as you carry the paring knife with you. I mean, this is the technique I use, and it works well. And you can most of the time do it in one fell swoop, but do not worry if you don't have the technique down. All that matters is that you're taking the effort and the time to make this food for your baby, and you know exactly what was going into your baby's belly, okay? And then I take usually sections around the core. Then I go back and revisit the core and just take stuff off, the remainder apples. And then you take about 1/4 to 1/2 inch slices. We do this so that the apple will boil and steam quicker. Again, so we're not losing all the nutritional value and vitamins that are in the fruit. Okay, and then I go around to the core and I just turn and I take off the excess. I think sometimes coring it takes too long, and you do as such. Okay, so now, as you see, I'm going to continue to peel my apples, but this is what it looks like. We're going to have a nice big bowl, okay? I'm pausing right now. I will continue the segment, and when I come back, all the apples will be peeled, and we will have our 2 cups of water to begin our boiling of the water prior to putting in the ingredients. Okay, so now we're back to the prep area. This is the bowl. I have 8 apples, 4 Gala apples, 4 Pink Ladies, all organic. I've taken the apples. Now you can see the size of my hand, the approximate size, and the thickness. I have sliced it out, I'd say 1/4 inch. Some of them 1/2 inch, but it's not a big deal. As long as they're sliced, you have a nice big bowl ready to go. I have my measuring cup here all ready in my pot. Okay, and as you see, the pot isn't too full. We don't need that. Apples have water as it is, so we're going to put a lid on it, and the lid will help to keep the moisture in, and this is all the water we'll need. Okay, so there we go. It's already on the stove. As I said, I like to boil the water before I add in the apple. Okay, so now I'm back. The water is boiling, definitely boiling, and I'm adding my apples in. It is a big pot of apples, as you can see. Okay, I've now added all the apples in. I'm gonna cover the pot again, and you're gonna let it sit, I'd say for about typically 10 minutes. And they start to get a little translucent. And then we will pick up the segment after they're cooked. Okay, so now we're back. And during the break of the segment, the water was boiling with the apples in it. Now it was 15 minutes to boil. I'd anticipated 10. Then I realized that not all the apples were translucent, so I did another 5 minutes. So total 15 minutes for all 8 apples. And I did add another 1 cup of water because I kept lifting the lid to check it. So I think some of the water evaporated. So now come close. I have my immersible blender. It's ready to go. I've engaged it. It's ready. It's plugged in. So now let's see. I'm going to lift the lid. Now look how beautiful, translucent those apples look. And you see it's almost like practically already applesauce. So what I'm going to do is submerge the blender before turning it on. You don't want to splash it on yourself, and I certainly don't today. So now I am blending and moving the blender at the same time. I've tipped the pot up, waving the blender back and forth, submerged always, never lifting it because otherwise it's going to splash and it might burn you. So now here I am. Again, that rippling effect, you know, once you get that rippling effect, you know that, you know, you're in the home stretch. I don't need to add any more water. It seems like this is going to be enough. The whole while verifying that I haven't left any lumps. You know, we wouldn't want any choking. So smooth, moving back and forth, and voila, it's done. Simple as that. I'm gonna get a spoon. I detach my blender wand in the sink. I mean, I'm ready to go. It's very easy. Do not feel intimidated. This is very easy. It takes me longer to videotape than it does to actually make the food. So now we have 8 apples for $1, 4 pink ladies. We cupped them as I showed you in the previous segments, and we added 3 cups and a quarter of water, because then I went back and added some more, pureed all of it, and look at the smooth, beautiful consistency. And this is the spoon. It should just almost glide off. If you think it's a little too loose, just take some of the water out prior to blending. But I don't think so. I think it looks great. And of course, I always try it because I would not feed my baby anything I wouldn't eat. And that's the reason exactly why my children never had a jar of baby food. I've seen some of the jars on the shelves. I would not go anywhere near them. And that's what compelled me to do what I do today. Delicious. The best applesauce ever. And I'm sure you will agree. Take care and have a great day. We will come back with a more complex soup later in the week, where I'm going to be mixing vegetables and various vegetables. And then the segment after that will incorporate probably a fish or a chicken. Thank you and have a great day. Bye-bye.